started today.
Canadian players did really well this weekend. Up front, the old goal scorers. John David, hat-trick for Lille. They won 3-0. Cyle Larin's goal on Friday for Mallorca against Valladolid. That was something. You mentioned the Zidane earlier, Jimmy. That's a Zidane-like touch, right? Off his toe, in the air, brings it down, volleys it home. What a goal that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want me to elaborate on this? Or are you continuing what
Generally how it works.
Are you trying to bring me in? Or are you telling
Yes.
me?
When I say, Jimmy, what a great goal that was.
Yeah. Fantastic goal, Charles. Really.
When you say, Jimmy, what a great goal that was, Wonger, this is where you tee up your joke.
Jimmy, honest question.
Yeah.
Did you see the goal?
Do you know what, Charms? I actually did, because I was on match night last night at One Soccer, so I saw all these highlights that you're talking about right now.
So
but I thought you would have said, did you see this goal? And then I would have talked about it. But you can't describe the goal and tell how great it was and then expect me to finish the conversation.
That's true. What can you add to it?
I can't add anything to it.
But you can, as a footballer.
He's going, speaking as Zidane, it was a great goal, finish, blah, 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 and you go off on one, then how do you want me to come on that?
That's the type of finish that you expect Cyle Larin to have with the men's national team. That's what you want him to do, to sniff out chances in the box.
Can he build on this? His confidence.
The way that he finished it, that's the type of confidence and attitude and aura you want him to bring into the national team camp, say, in this upcoming window. Or something. But I guess you saw those highlights for the first time last night on match night tonight, so you don't have any more sort of visceral reactions to things. So it's all used up now.
I don't think I like that approach. I think you're bringing me in so that I can.
And I'm not doing it.
Okay, how about this one, Jimmy? See, I didn't play the game at any level, right? For me, I couldn't do that. How hard is it to do that?
It's not that difficult, Charms.
Okay, that's an opinion. That's good.
Little ball over the top, little touch, bang, wall up the top corner, celebrate, off you go.
So I'm overselling this thing.
No, it is difficult. It's very difficult. That's why the players and certain strikers get paid the money that they do, is because they can make a difference in a game. They can do something special. They have that little bit of magic that we talk about, and he's the type of player that has that. Something that's different and unique that people are willing to spend for, that can make a difference.
I'm gonna ask Jimmy, all of you three, this question. Craig and Jimmy have said before that Jonathan David has not always seemed to be missing something, and at a certain point, and this is to get to the Prem, like to have that opportunity. Both of them said on this podcast, he seems to be missing something, whether it's flash, whether it's whatever it is. Does straight stats force Prem teams to make this opportunity, kind of create this opportunity for Jonathan David to get a move into the Prem? And that's what do straight stats force that? Thanks, Jimmy.
Forget about the stats. I take that back, because I take that comment back, because I was like, is he missing something? But for me, he's not. I think he's absolutely world class. And when you really watch him closely and you watch his movement, the way he sees the game, the way that he plays, he's on a different level. Why he hasn't been sold yet is because he's holding his cards very close to his chest. He knows his contract's is coming up soon. He's going to make his own decision of where he's going to go in the future. And he's got clubs that are lined up right now. We all know that. Everybody's having a sniff at him. Everybody wants him. He doesn't want to get sold just yet, because when his contract runs out, he's going to be the man that's going to turn around and say, this is the club that I'm going to go to, and this is why I'm going to go there. And he's going to get an absolute payday like you've never seen in your life. He's going to be set up for a long, long time. And it's not about, as where we're saying, well, maybe he's missing something. I don't think he is missing anything. He's just holding his what's the word I'm looking for? He's in control of his own destiny right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll be at a big, big club next year.
He can make more money as well as a free agent.
100%,
right? Because there's no transfer fee involved.
There's no transfer fee. So if he leaves right now and he gets bought and say he goes and he's making 100 grand a week, well, if he goes on a free transfer, he's making 300 grand a week because there's no transfer fee.
Bet on yourself.
I'm telling you, well, that's exactly what he's doing. And you heard Jesse Marsch as well. And Jesse Marsch said it. He's probably the most intelligent footballer that heek worked with. He's very, very calculated. He knows what he wants. He knows where he's going, and he's going to get it done.
Well, I mentioned it's a good weekend for Canadian internationals. Jason Russell-Rowe scored as well. Mentioned Cyle Larin. And listen, Larin has been criticized, right, for not scoring for Canada since, I think, March. Yeah. But again, I don't see anyone else, even some of the younger players coming through there, Theo Bair, Tani Aloshay. They're not going to take Cyle Larin's spot, I don't think, right now, are they, Dubs? To me, it's Larin and it's David. Larin, okay, has been in a bit of a drought, but he's, again, a smart footballer who works extremely hard and does little things that, other than perhaps goal scoring all the time, that don't get noticed. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's fair, but I think if he continues performing for Canada the same way that he has done, where you're not getting the offensive output, I think that somebody else will get an opportunity. I think especially the way that they're going, they were unable to secure an opponent for the first part of this upcoming October window. They're going to train in Montreal. They're going to bring in a 26-man roster. Marsch is really trying to see what he has at his disposal, and there are going to be more opportunities afforded to other strikers. And I mean, I think that the pairing of Larin and David, I think, is underperformed. Yes, they're asked to do other things. David's playing at a deeper lying position. Usually if they're playing off one another, Larin's playing sort of more that number 9 position, and David's dropping off more, looking to link up, covering a lot of ground, doing a lot of defensive work off the ball. So that's maybe, Jimmy, to your argument about what he's doing at Lille, maybe doing himself a little bit of a disservice, because you look at, Forrest always talks about his goals with Canada. They usually come against lesser opponents. So is he able to produce against big opponents, but can he do that when he's playing a role that he's finds himself in, maybe not unfamiliar, but he's where he's less likely to hit that same output as he does at club. But I think that Larin-David pairing has to be looked at. And I think it's only a matter of time with the guys who are pushing behind him and the talent that's being brought in with Canada and Marsch, that I think Larin's time is slowly running out if he's unable to deliver kind of consistently when Canada play these matches.
Jimmy, do you concur?
Yeah, I think it's a difficult one as well. I mean, when you look at Cyle Larin, and people are talking about, are they performing? But Cyle Larin's got 29 goals in 75 games. Jonathan David has got 29 goals in 56 games for the national team. So they might not be scoring every single match, but they are contributing. They are scoring goals. And then it's, Jonathan David, when he's at Lille, the formation, the setup, his teammates, he's getting a service that he relies on, and sometimes he doesn't get it with the national team. And I think that's where he does struggle a little bit. And same with Cyle Larin. I think Cyle Larin, he got 1 goal in 6 games, or I think 1 goal 6 games this season. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, that was his first goal of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. First in 15 overall, I think it is.
Yeah. And I think it just takes time. It's always difficult with the national team because you're not playing together all the time, are you? Mm. And and I picture myself, if I'm playing out wide left and I've got a left back, or I got midfielders, or I got a striker that I'm playing with, like a lot of times you don't know his tendencies and where he's going to go. But if I'm training with a guy every single day and I'm whipping balls into the box and I know his movements, I know where he's going to go, then it helps me out with my service and my delivery because I know his tendencies. And that's the problem a lot of times with the national team, is that they're not together enough, that you don't really understand his movements or patterns.
At the same time, though, that this national team and the way that they performed recently, mm-hmm. they are chance creating. And Larin consistently is missing really big opportunities. So I think that's where it's going to come back and kind of bite him, where eventually there's going to be somebody that's putting pressure on him in terms of performances on the training pitch, and they're going to be given an opportunity. And then Larin's going to find himself on the bench, and it's going to be hard to crack that 11 again.
Yeah, I agree. But there's no one, there's younger players who are having decent seasons in MLS specifically, but no one's having these standout breakthrough campaigns, I don't think, forcing their way into that conversation just yet. It could change in a month quite easily. But right now, I mean, who's pushing Cyle Larin right now? Olo O'Shea? Russell Rowe, maybe? He looks
Did
really
you see
good.
his goal, by the way?
Olo O'Shea? Yeah.
No, Russell Rowe.
The diving header from Cucho. Beautiful.
Did you guys see it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
What a finish that was.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Whenever I see him, he looks great.
Yeah.
Right? He's not playing every game, but when he comes on the pitch, he makes an impact. So maybe he is the one who's pushing right now. But, you know, it's not as if there's another John David, I don't think, in the pipeline right now, as far as I know. I mean, listen, Santiago Lopez playing in Mexico, not playing that much, though, for Pumas right now. He's young. Maybe he'll be someone. There's some really interesting names, but I just don't know if there's anyone at the moment pushing Kyle, you know, unless he's scoring goals. Well, this camp coming up in the Panama game, do you think, I know Jesse Marsch said he'll probably invite some dual nationals, some new faces in. Do you think you'll see some veterans stay behind with their clubs this window, or the fact that there's just so few windows, Dubs, these days, and chances of this team to get together with 2026, you know, 20 months away? He's still got to bring the best of the bunch and get them together at least.
Yeah, you do. I think you have to seize every opportunity to get that core group together. And I think with not the majority, but with a fair number who are competing in MLS, I think you take advantage and you maybe sort of lean that way, like your bias is towards bringing players in MLS that you maybe haven't seen or that Marsch hasn't seen more recently, versus bringing players from across the pond. Sort of take advantage of the fact that it's on the East Coast, that it's in Montreal. But I didn't want to not answer your question, but I think it's great what Marsch is doing. You know, that they're taking the opportunity to have a camp in Montreal, even though they're playing Panama and Toronto, and players going to be out in communities, and they're bringing in alumni from Montreal, and that part of their plan. You know, you're talking about 2026 only being 20 months away. Like, this is part of it. Be like putting the roots down and connecting with people when they're in different towns and different cities across Canada. It's huge. So you do the same thing with your player pool. You bring players in who wouldn't otherwise get an opportunity if you had a match at the beginning of the window, and they maybe wouldn't get seen, but now you do, and you really get an opportunity to not only deepen your ties to the community, but deepen that player pool as well.
When your bar is low, sorry, Sharms, when your bar is low, doesn't it feel great to, like, every time these guys have made a move, Jesse Marsch, Kevin Blue, Peter Grusso, like, everything seems new and exciting, doesn't it? And even, I'm going to share this, like, Dubs got an email from Kevin Blue and is invited to that, like, what is that inviting you to for the Montreal event?
It's an event like much like the one that you guys went to. I think, was it post Copa, and then
okay, great.
Marsch, and those guys were in Toronto, and reporters were there, but it was also meet and greet and just a chance to connect and chat with them. He's doing the same thing in Montreal on October 10th, and I don't know if both of them are going to be there, but October 8th is the Northern Super League Montreal franchise brand launch, and Kevin Blue will also be there. So it's important that you're. I mean, was it JC that said glad handing when Jimmy came in? That's probably a different meaning. But I mean, the fact that these guys are connecting in sort of all facets of the game, not just the men's game, not just boys sports, but like they're investing in Canadians and communities and across kind of the, what do you call it, across the aisle, you know, like politicians, they're doing the same thing where the reach is vast, and they're casting a wide net as it pertains to recruitment, and going to look for these diamonds in the rough in terms of Canadian talent, but also trying to include everybody in terms of the stakeholders of the game and the fans. And I think it's working. They're doing a fabulous job so far.
But you're right. Well, when the bar is set low, I mean, I can speak to this. It's a pretty wonderful thing. It makes life easier. Thank God my bar is so low. Can only succeed.
All the Canadian pie makers and boyfriends of Tony. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Canada's women's goal scorers had a great weekend as well. Evelyn Vian again, Dubs again.
Yep, she's pretty impressive. She's doing it midweek as part of Champions League qualifiers or early matches in that competition for the women. And then she had a game-winning goal and an assist and a 3-1 Roma win. Olivia Smith had her first goal for Liverpool.
Yeah,
a fabulous finish.
goal.
Yep, kind of ball bouncing around, and she got a hold of it, cut it back, and then curled it into that far post with her left foot. What are you laughing at, Wonger?
Just
ball bouncing around.
Yeah, that's all. Just made me laugh.
And
Did that happen this morning when you went for a little walk?
Craig's ball bounced around.
That's it. I was thinking
Ball
Craig,
bouncing
one
around.
ball.
Yeah. And Leon for Villa in their 2-2 draw.
Nothing unless a little deft chip over the keeper there as well.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. What a good weekend for Canadians.
Mm.
It's as if we're establishing ourselves in the world game.